Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Welcome back to another episode of the Screen Crusaders podcast. This is Tex-Mex Morty with y'all today to bring in the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment, all things movies, going from like the Super Mario movie that just came out and was a smash hit, all the way to stuff like Joker finished wrapping up its filming, and of course, a lot of information came out from this year's what's it called? Year Star Wars Celebration, I think it was called. But let me go ahead and bring in the panel with, let's see who's joining us today. All right, of course we have the usual suspects. We have my awesome co-host, the greatest co-host that will ever be for the Screen Crusader podcast, Mr. Oyman. What's up, man?
Oh, wow, ever, huh? It makes me feel pretty special.
Ever starting 2023. That whole She-Hulk tobacco and stuff like that. That was a whole different thing. We had to go.
Still the best Marvel show.
Oh man.
Hey, you brought it up. I mean, you know it's the best because you keep bringing it up. That's how you know you've got a great show.
Bruh.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Oh man, I think I just broke the like 30-second or minute to 30-second rule from YouTube, but who cares? Who cares? Also bringing in the heat this week, most likely, we have JT coming back. Yo, what's up, JT?
Dude, man, my car is janky. It's in the shop. Man, I don't know what to do with this car.
Sell it. Sorry.
Yeah, I felt like that was the closest thing to like a, oh man. Oh wait, no.
What a joke.
Oh, yeah. Well, your car sounds like a joke, but here, this is for your car, JT.
Thank you.
All right. And, of course, you might have heard her in the background. We also have Miss Cap returning with us this week. What is new, Miss Cap?
What up? My kid's the star, y'all. Star is a joke. It's a joke, and we should not be doing it to these kids. But I digress from that. My kids are getting ready for Star.
I thought they took that away.
Like it or not, we're going to make it happen.
All right. And, of course, unfortunately, Mr. Johnny Joe Star wasn't able to join us today. And I don't believe Davel will as well. So we'll just go ahead and bring in the final piece before we get started, and that's the bulletin board. So I guess like a PSA to start everything out is the oh, give me a second. Oh, excuse me. Is the Shazam. It's already gonna be out on DVD.
On digital.
Or digital, not DVD.
Yeah,
what am I saying?
DVD will be May 23rd.
Yeah, but man, I didn't even. At this point, I'm just gonna wait.
3 weeks later.
Yeah, like not even a full month before they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna be putting it out next week. I don't know how I feel about that because at that point, it kind of kills. I know the movie didn't do as well as they were hoping for, most likely, but I was gonna try to get around to it maybe in a week or two. That and the Dungeons and Dragons movie, but at this point, I might as well just like rent it on digital. It'd be cheaper for me to just do that than go to the theater with my wife and buy popcorn and all that. It'll be like $50, $60 to go to the theater, or $20 to just watch it at home. And I could pause it whenever I want, or if I don't like it, turn it off. But
It's a good ad-home watch.
But
Even if you want to wait for HBO Max, it's worth it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. It just, these movies are starting to hit digital so fast that it just, if you didn't see it the first couple weeks, at that point you're like, well, why go watch it if I'm gonna be able to just watch it pretty soon anyways.
Except Ant-Man. Ant-Man's been out for almost 2 months and it's still not on digital yet because Disney's trying to get all their money from that one.
Yeah, but that one got announced that it's gonna be going on digital, I think by the end of this month, isn't it? And then on Disney Plus and like Blu-ray I think in May.
It'll be Blu-ray next month and then Disney Plus the month after. So if you were waiting for Disney Plus to watch Ant-Man, you're going to be waiting almost 5 months after it came out.
That's quite some time, but I guess, I mean, in today's standards,
That's how it
because
used to be.
we've gotten so used, we've gotten so used to things not being there, or being there right off the
spoiled.
bat. Because back in the day, it used to be where you would just have to wait at least 3 months just to be able to rent it. Not let alone what's it called? Watch it on a streaming platform. So let's go ahead and just transition over. I got an article right here. So it looks like the Mario movie hit it real big. It was a huge success, opening up with, I believe,
Frozen.
yeah, it beat Frozen as the biggest opening for a animated movie. I think it says that the domestic box office is $204 million, and the global is $377 million over the 5-day holiday weekend. That's some pretty impressive numbers. I'm not gonna lie.
Great.
Haven't seen the movie. What are y'all's opinions on it? And do you guys think that this huge success box office is because the movie's good? Did you guys like it? Is it deserved? What are y'all's opinion on it?
I saw it twice, so that should tell you something. Like, I watched it once with my best friend because she's a big big Mario fan. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it once. She liked it, and I was like, oh, it's really good, really funny. She was like, oh, I'm the one who gets. She was like, oh, I'm the one who gets to tell you the little Easter eggs. And I was like, yeah, okay. But then afterwards, I was like, dang, I kind of want to see this again. So I went the next day and saw it again. It was better the second time. Like, it was so much fun.
It really was. It was a great movie.
Yes, I do agree. I think the reason why it made that much money because it's the Easter weekend and they did it on Wednesday or Thursday. So again, Good Friday, a lot of students are out, and so it was a perfect opportunity for like families and kids, grandparents, comic book lovers like we are, game lovers, to flock to the theaters. And it's gonna make all this money. It's gonna have a sequel. Also, it's gonna have spin-offs, and ultimately, it might lead to a Super Mario Bros. 5, 10 years down the road. But that's I'm just
Smash
not
Brothers.
happen. But it's a great movie. Yeah, sorry, Smash Bros. My bad, Smash Bros. If you have not seen this movie and you'll listen to it right now, do it, please. It's so great. Bowser is fantastic. Chris Pratt as Mario really surprised me.
Surprisingly
I
good.
really liked his voice a lot, and his overall abundance of fun. Like Miss Cap says, a lot of Easter eggs is great. Watch it in theaters, please. This is a movie to experience in theaters where you can hear the whole theater reaction to different parts of the movie. It's fun. It's funny. It's tailored to adults and kids alike. Please don't wait until it's on DVD or streaming. This movie is meant to see on the big screen. I beg you, please watch it on the big screen. Thank you.
Well, what's it called? So, Mr. Oyman, I got a question for you. Would you consider yourself like a fan of Mario, like actively? Like, did you grow up with it, or are you
Yoshi's
just very...
Island is my favorite video game of all time. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would say that
'Cause
I did grow up with Mario.
I wasn't
played
too
the
sure.
Donkey Kong and other Mario games, and Dr. Mario. Played Smash Brothers a lot growing up. But yeah, Yoshi's Island is my favorite game of all time. And my only problem with the movie was not enough Yoshi until they hinted that that's kind of where the second one will probably focus more on. So I'm pretty excited.
Well, I was gonna ask, man, and this gets hard to ask because now we're all a little bit biased, but it seems that obviously it's a hit not only for kids and adults as well, like us who grew up with this stuff, but it's not quite a hit with the critics as of right now. And I was gonna try to get because they're probably looking at it a little bit different. We're looking at it through the perspective of fans. I wasn't sure if we had a panel member who would be able to I could ask the question, as a movie, is this a good movie? Because I know that it hit like a home run for us who knew all the Easter eggs, who I love these characters because they're charming, they're witty. The game's never had that great of a story, and I thought what the Illumination brought to the table was surprisingly very well handled. So I was gonna try to get a.
Well,
a
it
like,
was a
Go ahead.
it was a great kid. It was a great kids movie, but if you're looking at it as just a movie, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I would have really, really liked it a lot more if the script was a little bit tighter and if there was a little bit more fleshing out of characters with Mario, Peach, and Luigi. Obviously the script is no Toy Story or Lego Movie or anything like that. And I think it had potential to be that good, but also given how bad Illumination's track record has been, like from either making god awful movies or just making pretty much okay movies, it was refreshing to see something that was actually quite good in comparison. But I could see why, if critics are like wanting something more from their kids movie than just an entertaining fun movie, then there isn't a whole lot more. Like, the movie is very much like a kind of cotton candy fluff, light, very light movie, very easily digestible. But honestly, I don't think it needed to be really much more than that, to be honest. It could have been a lot worse.
But also to piggyback Mr. Limit, like a lot of critics nowadays. Okay, let's go with Toy Story. Toy Story was a hit for critics and audiences because of themes, right? Toy Story is based upon not like morality, but if toys could talk, and so it kind of fleshed out Woody and Buzz and every toy within the movie within that 90 minutes, time frame. While we're here, like Mr. Woman said, didn't really flesh out Mario, Luigi, Peach. They did Bowser to some
little
degree,
bit.
but not Donkey Kong and all that. And so maybe that's what critics are. Again, like this is a kids movie, but I think that it would have benefited from having a more tighter script. But again, this is for the fans. I mean, the critics just
Actually,
get to say.
I don't even think the script needed to be tighter. I think it needed to be expanded upon a little bit.
I think
Yeah,
Like, the movie was
honestly,
short. It was like 90 minutes. It could have been like 10 minutes longer, I think.
honestly, if I was to take it back on like that, I was like thinking, I was like, it was made for the fans, but I think that's like you guys are talking script wise. I think that's why they didn't really flesh it out, because they knew at least the people who are going to see it, the characters. Like it wasn't like something like these brand new characters. Of course, you got to flesh out the characters because you're like, I don't know who these characters are, so we got to flesh them out. We got to give them some backstory. But because either this is a widely popular characters that's been here since like what, the 80s? Am I right correctly? Like
I believe so.
70s, I think.
huh?
Let me
I think
check
it's been
real
around
quick.
since the 70s.
I don't know,
Like,
because
So
70s
it's
is like
it's been
Atari
around.
time.
It's like
It's been a
need to-
while.
Yeah, you don't need to flesh it out, these characters out, because we've been fleshing them out through games and other type of resources and stuff. So like, they're banking on like the watchers, the viewers, to know who these characters already are. So it's just like giving us just a really fun, entertaining movie about these characters that we know and love.
Yeah, so quick.
You don't know them. You don't know the history between Bowser and Peach, or you don't know the history between, Mario, Luigi, and Peach. Like, if you don't,
A lot of it's
it's
kind
kind
of
of like,
hollow.
what is the meaning of this? This doesn't really make a sense. Like, why is Bowser doing what he's doing? Like, without getting, but like, why is he doing that? I'm like, but if you know the game, if you know the characters, me, who's not a big video game person, like, I know these characters, So it's like, so it was so much fun for me. Even though I don't play the games, I still know the characters and their background. So, yeah.
So it looks like Miss Cap was right. Mario debuted in September 13 of 1985, making him 42 years
Wow,
old.
okay. That was later than I expected.
Yeah.
That was the 80s, yeah.
Yeah. But and obviously these characters are animated, so they don't necessarily I guess they have life until it is brought to them by the voice actor. What were y'all's opinions on the voice acting in the movie overall? Did you guys think like Chris Pratt did and Anya Taylor-Joy did a good job at theirs, or who was the standout for you guys in the overall movie?
Jack Black.
Definitely Jack Black.
Jack Black.
I like the
Black
Charlie
and
Day
Seth
one
Rogen.
also.
What was that, Miss Cat?
Black and Seth Rogen. It was such a fresh. I see him Donkey Kong. Real.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't even see him
he did a good
laugh,
job.
and I was all like, "Oh, Seth Rogen."
Yeah, he did a good job at making me forget for a second that it was Seth Rogen. Yep, until he did the laugh when he was with Mario, and he laughs at Mario and he's like, oh, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Seth Rogen. I forgot. But
I mean, I was kind of impressed of Anna Taylor-Joy's Peach. I thought that she did a pretty remarkable job in bringing like sass to the character. With like, hey, I don't need a man. I can be independent.
Oh,
I mean, that's what the
I didn't think she was sassy at all. I thought she was very sincere. That's why I liked her take on Peach. Peach is a character I
I mean,
expected her to be more
sass and also
sassy.
like some sincere parts, but I mean, yes, sincere as well. But she did a great job. But Bowser, Jack Black's Bowser, I mean, he kind of stole the movie for me. But he did a great job in bringing Bowser to life with his mannerisms and, of course, the song that's been all over YouTube. Peaches, 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 peaches.
Oh my
Oh, I love you. I mean, that song can like beat out Frozen, like Let It Go, like any day. I listen to that
Oh
song
my
like
God.
all day.
You can't have Jack Black in a movie and not have him sing.
Yes.
Like, that's it. Like a requirement.
yeah, I was wondering that too. I'm like, what's it called? It would have felt weird if they didn't make him sing. I don't know. It just he makes every character somehow be him, but also be its own thing at the same time. I don't know how he does it. It's like you could tell Poe and Bowser are very much Jack Black, but when you look at Poe and Bowser, they're totally different. Yet somehow they're both Jack Black.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he does it. But he's great at what he does.
No, yeah, all the voice acting was really strong. I really like Charlie Day as Luigi. I'm excited to hear more from him in the next one if they, whenever they get to it. I'll say my biggest like problem with the movie, and it wasn't really a big issue at all, but it was kind of like made me roll my eyes, was the use of all the pop songs in the movie did not fit in the scenes that they were in. Like, I liked all the songs that played, but they just felt so out of place. They felt so like the studio was like, oh, we got to put an 80s pop song in here because, Mario is an 80s property.
Oh yeah.
And like
I get what you mean.
the songs did not match the scenes that were happening. Like when he's driving into Donkey Kong's house and they're playing "Take on Me."
Take on Me.
I'm like,
That was
what the heck?
weird.
What does this have to do with anything?
It didn't
But-
fit.
Yeah, no, it didn't fit at all.
It's
Same
like-
with and then like also the "Holding Out for a Hero," which we've heard already 5 times this year in other movies. Like they need to chill with that song already.
Which other movies has it been in?
It was in Shazam. It was in Loki. It was in God. There was something that just came out recently that it was just in. Also, it was like it's been used a lot.
It was in the Guardians game too.
Oh, it was okay. So there you go. No, there was something else too that it just was like just in before Shazam, but and then and then like the Mr. Blue Sky at the end. Like I love that song. I just felt like it just like why are we doing this here? I would have preferred they just did more instrumentals of the classic Mario songs, which they did with Brian Taylor composing it. He did a great job, kind of orchestrating the classic music cues. I would have loved more of that and less like generic pop song number 5 or whatever. But at least they were older songs. They weren't like playing Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift and all that. That would have made it a lot less horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I gotta give some credit to Chris Pratt because I think when it first was announced that he was going to be Mario, people like shat on him. They were like, he's Mario, he's not fit for it, it doesn't make any sense. And then we got the first trailer, and they were like, "Oh, we still hate it. It doesn't work." But then I actually saw the movie, and like I almost forgot it was Chris Pratt's voice. Like until the very end, I was like, "Chris Pratt?"
No,
I
he
was like,
disappeared into it very well.
"Yeah."
I just
He did actually he actually did very well, you know.
I
And
thought he
we
did.
had like misconceptions about him being, but
I
you
personally
honestly
thought
forget it's him.
I personally thought it was he was okay. He was serviceable, but no, I actually could not see anything but Chris Pratt. He had a little tiny bit of a Brooklyn twang, but overall, I just heard Chris Pratt.
I mean,
like
I
literally,
could hear it same way that I heard Charlie Day, but I still thought that both of them
yeah,
those
but
versions of the
like
characters pretty well.
like Anya Taylor-Joy, she did a little bit extra with her voice.
She was better.
Yeah, with Peach, Jack
Yeah.
Black, he put on a little bit of a voice with Bowser.
Seth Rogen put on no voice.
Yeah, but that's Seth Rogen,
Rogen doesn't need one.
and he was also a
He
small
doesn't.
portion of
He
the
already
movie.
sounds like Donkey Kong.
But yeah, not saying
Fred Armisen was a little annoying, but he was okay.
not saying that he did a bad job, because he still sold the lines and he still did a good job at his job. But me personally, I heard Chris Pratt trying to put on a slight Brooklyn accent that every now and then would just randomly go away and then come back. So for me, I just say
It's alright, like.
he was all right. He was not bad. He was not amazing in my eyes. I'm glad you guys really enjoyed his performance, because let's be honest, if it was terrible, it would have, like, it's Mario. If he's the star character, if he was bad at it, it would have been a real big like make or break moment. He could have completely like derailed the whole steam the movie got if he didn't sell it. But he sold it well enough to like what's it called, to warrant and capture the hearts of the audience. But obviously, because
Money!
we're gonna get a sequel, that's for sure. I mean, they did some teasing at the end. I will say stay for the after credits. There are two credit scenes basically, and like most superhero movies and stuff like that nowadays. So stay after the credits. They do tease some stuff, and for the sequel, we already gotten Donkey Kong in here. What characters from the Nintendo IP, like, I guess, toy box, would you guys hope to see in a sequel, other than, like Mr. Orman said, like a Yoshi character? So someone that's
Waluigi.
not... Okay, Waluigi.
Waluigi and Wario.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, JT?
Wario could be the next bad guy.
I would like to see Rosalina or Daisy, and see how they interact with Peach, because I don't know the lore, but I know that they're kind of not. I don't know. Are they like best buds, like Daisy and Peach, sort of vibe, or I don't really know. But I think
No,
Daisy,
they're not like enemies or anything like Wario and Mario, but they get along. They're both princesses, and for the most part, I don't want to say again. It's been a while. I don't know if they're sisters or not. I don't think they are. I think they're just friends. But yeah, no, seeing a dynamic between them two would be interesting.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Miss Cat?
Rosalina, like what JT said, like teased like kind of her world a bit in the movie. If you like caught on to it, if you knew like what it was, because my friend told me about it later. I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah. So maybe her, because they already introduced something in the world already, like in the movie already for Rosalina. So honestly, I almost see that happening in the sequel. Maybe going into that world. So that's cool. Forgot what her world is called though. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But that would be cool to see her.
Me personally, I would like to see kind of I guess this wouldn't be a sequel. This would be more of a spin-off. But I would love to see Luigi's Mansion get some sort of adaptation, even if it's just a small segment in the sequel or something. Just because Luigi was a very likable character in this movie. He was funny. He had heart to him. And Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube was one of the best games in that system, in my opinion. And I would love to see how they would just handle that, because it's just a nice, fun little side story they could tackle. But obviously,
Yeah.
once again, because of
money, money, money.
do you guys think they'll do a lead up kind of Avengers Initiative type of stuff, and we'll potentially see a Smash Brothers movie down the line? Because obviously we got hints of like Mario Kart, even a little bit of Smash and Donkey Kong, and of course Mario. So do you guys think it's in the cards that they're probably planning in the background to do something like that?
They could. I think like that's kind of the niche thing right now is like, every movie kind of connecting with something. Seeing that they can make video game adaptation type movies, like when Wreck-It Ralph came out, like it was like the biggest thing. We're like, oh my gosh, it's all for games, and then with the, like hinting at all the big 80s and 90s, games and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, that we can actually do something with that. So like with this one coming out, you're like, big world. There's lots of games to it. There's lots of lore. There's different characters. So technically they can, especially since this movie did really well. It's only been out for a weekend. Like, it won't hurt them. It'll probably help them if they do it well. If they don't do it well, they're going to forget about it and then we'll be left unsatisfied.
Yeah, I think I mean that's what they'll be careful of. Like I'm speaking with Marvel. Marvel took 10 years to do phase. I mean, not 10 years, but like took their time. So if Nintendo and Illumination want to do a Smash Bros, go for it. But they have to take that time. Also, they have to figure out which characters do they want to introduce. They can do all of it, but which characters will like draw people back to movie theaters? Maybe a Star Fox movie. Maybe some other big name, type, you know, big
To be
name type
honest, I don't
character
think
within
any.
within the Nintendo world
I
to
feel like
order
Mario
to
is
kind of
it though.
promote that Smash, movie. But they can do it, but please don't rush the project. Like, take your time. We can wait, but they can do it right if they play the cards right.
I feel like Super Mario Brothers is the only real like Mario and Sonic, and then like we saw recently Pokemon. Those are kind of the only big video game properties that I can see doing really well at the box office. I mean, you could do a Star Fox, you could do Samus, you could do a couple others
Well, I
that
mean,
might do okay, but they're not going to have the
Very
same
niche.
impact. Yeah, they're a lot more niche. Maybe if
Yeah.
you did them as shows or direct to streaming movies or something, maybe that you could get more of them made, but I don't see them putting in like full animated movie budgets for something like Star Fox. As much as I
Possibly
love that,
Kirby could be
Yeah,
a
I
big
could see
one.
Kirby.
A lot of
Kirby,
people
yeah.
like Kirby.
Yeah.
Kirby maybe.
Yeah.
Especially
I could see that
because those
potentially. I love Kirby.
the Nintendo fan base, man, never underestimate those guys. They go out in droves just to
We
see.
love it.
Yeah, like it
Yep.
could be like the 10th release of Super Mario 3, and it's still like all they did was be able to play it on the Switch instead of like the DS. No like changed anything, and they'll go rebuy it again for like $60-$70. Like they are committed. Those Nintendo fans, they do not care. They'll throw money at Nintendo no matter what.
Zelda. Oh my gosh, if they do Zelda, it's all over.
Ooh.
They do Zelda,
I was gonna
and
say
it's all
Zelda is probably
over.
Zelda could
It's
do
the
well. I could see
biggest
Zelda
thing
doing
right
well.
now.
Yeah, especially
And that has lots of lore. It's so much lore to it.
oh
There's
yeah.
Do you
so
think
much
that one
with
would be
Zelda.
animated or live action?
No, I would
I would
recommend
say I would rather
animated.
see it animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, animated.
I feel like
You
they
would have
would,
to find perfect casting if you did live action, but I think it would make it a lot better.
and just the
Be
fact
so
that
much better.
you would have to drop so much money just to make the CGI believable, because like Miss Cap said, there's a lot of lore, a lot of fantasy elements to it. So unless you're ready to drop like all three Lord of the Rings budget together to give it justice, I don't think you could make live action look as good as you can get away with animated stuff and making it really fantastical and stuff like
They got
that.
you side on right.
Yeah.
Gotta do Sidon right. You can't CGI his perfectness. So I say about it.
But
I know it's got to be animated.
so Jack Black was also doing an interview, obviously to promote the Mario movie, but and this is where I have fighting words with him. I do love me Red Dead Redemption, but he says now's the perfect time to start working on a Red Dead Redemption movie because he thinks that could rival, if not be, a better story than The Last of Us. Would you guys agree with him on that point?
Could be. I'm not saying it would be, but it could be. Anything could be, though. I don't know.
On par with it, but
Maybe not better, but rival it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, JT?
I don't know the story. I don't know the story to Grant.
I never played Red Dead Redemption, but I heard that both games are exceptionally well. Again, like if the creators are behind the lens, if the creators are in the writing room, if the creators are engaged in bed with the project, then yes, it can be on par with The Last of Us. But The Last of Us is one of those stories where no matter what, I don't think nothing can rival the story. I don't think nothing can beat it because it's that well done. Is that like the ending? You know, people still now have debates about the ending. Did Joel do the right thing? Yes or no? And so again, like if they did do a Red Dead Redemption movie, I'll see it. But again, the creator has to be in bed with with the whole process. If he doesn't, if they're not in bed with the process, forget about it. Like, no.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that nowadays people are starting to be vocal about actually wanting video game movies. Like, imagine we already got Sonic, we got Mario. Now it's time to bring my boy Crash, whoa, into the mix. But what's it called?
Spyro.
But it just
my
and
first
Spyro,
love, so-
Yeah.
Spyro too. Yeah. But But that's what I'm saying. It just, as a gamer and a movie enthusiast myself, it's music to my ears and I put it on the topic thing that it seems like the video game curse is gone. I say this because now we've had yet another game adaptation that is just not subpar. It's not terrible. It's not even just good. It's great. So the fact that you got all these actors and producers and other people starting to want to talk to it and people aren't cringing at the sound of it, how does that make y'all feel?
It feels great because I think there's another niche in the movie market. You know, you got your dramas, action, comedies, horror, but then you got this little niche of video game movies. And no matter what, video game movies sell based upon, Last of Us, big numbers, D&D, big numbers, even though that it's not a video game, it's a board game, it's still. But, as long as you have the right directors, the right producers, a tight lit screenplay, and also great, like, not like household names they could like see, okay, I can see where this is going. I mean, video game movies are here to stay, and it's kind of breath of fresh air because nowadays we got all these like superhero movies and sequels, but these are like original IPs, and they can kind of all depends on where the movie places within the calendar. It can make some of them make it like $1 billion. I think the Mario Brothers might make $1 billion at the box office, depending on you know how stuff lays out between April and May until Guardians comes out in May 5th. But I think there is niche for video game adaptations, and I feel like we as gamers will go and watch them on the big screen. So
Yeah. And I mean, we basically are going into yet another, and I'm glad we're in this timeline because we've seen obviously the regular good movies keep going and stuff like that. Then we saw now the golden age of superhero movies, and now it seems the golden age of video game movies. Now there's only one place left that needs to pick up their game, and I'm pretty sure Miss Cap will agree with me here. Now that we've gotten these guys out of the way, the anime side, man, they either need to stop making those live action adaptations or make them good. Like they seem to do what older superhero movies and old video game movies are, is just get the look down and don't worry about anything else. So hopefully we get to a golden age of those.
Anime needs to stay anime. Anime doesn't need to be
live action anime has never done well. Like, you know what I mean? Death Note, as the most recent one, was not great. Bleach was not great.
The only one that was decent was Ghost in the Shell, and that was only decent. Like, it wasn't awful,
but that's what I'm saying. They need to pick up their pace, because you're saying, Mr. Oyman, that they shouldn't try, but remember, 20 years ago, early 2000s, they were trying to make video game movies, and Jesus Christ, they were just really hard to watch. Like, we were having similar.
How you do it.
We were having similar conversations. Yeah, we got technology.
So it's really just the script then, the script and directing that's fun. Because then they do Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah, that was dog shit too. Oh God, don't even remind me.
See what I mean? That's what, we have the technology to make a good Full Metal Alchemist live action movie, and they just
but it also comes down to respecting the source material, the IP. Respect the IP.
Exactly.
And they could do it with technology.
Cowboy Bebop didn't do it.
Oh well, again, that's because
they a live action Attack on Titan.
Because Cowboy and Bebop had the look, they had the, I guess, feel of it, and then they just did not respect the IP at all, and that went. But again, we had 90s Mario that didn't respect the IP, and they had some technology, and Jesus Christ, have you guys seen the old Super Mario Brothers movie? I'm pretty sure the people back then were like, don't even bother making this again. And look where we are now.
Watch it.
But
I know the anime thing. It's just like they're not there yet. I think because there's so much of it that really finding one that fits. Like, one I would probably work really well. That's super popular right now because it's all of, like, the superhero era. Would be like My Hero. It's been out since 2016. It finished with their 6th season. The episodes are still coming out. So there's so much source material and there's so much storyline that they could do a lot with it. Like, at least a show is not quite because there's a lot of material, a lot of characters. But like, if done well, it could probably work. But they're not at that stage right now. I don't think I will be seeing it anytime soon. Because finding like actors who would work with these characters really well. Like, no hate on like Scarlett Johansson with like Ghost in the Shell, like, but to find actual actors that would fit with these characters that would work well with it, it's very hard to find. So, some time to keep experimenting, and when we get that first hit, then we'll come back to it. We'll come back to that conversation.
I like that optimism. Hopefully, like you said, it's sometime soon, but yeah, I don't see it happening quite yet. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done over at that end. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on. And the next topic, of course, we got Todd Phillips on Instagram sharing the other day that he is, like, the filming for Joker Part 2 has wrapped. And he showed us a better look, other than set photos, of what his Harley Quinn is going to look like. And I got that on the screen, obviously. Very reminiscent of how the Joker, when they first revealed him, where it's like, I could kind of see it, not quite there, but obviously the strength of the movie is in its characters. How excited are y'all about this movie? I'll start with you, JT.
I am excited. I mean, Lady Gaga has Harley Quinn. The Harley Quinn has different. I mean, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see this movie. I think this movie, again, like, we didn't need a sequel, but Joaquin Phoenix don't do sequels to his movies often. And
ever. No, not often. Ever.
Yeah, ever. So when Todd Phillips said, hey, I had the script, and he read it, like, yeah. And also they got, again, it's going to be musical because both of them can, especially Lady Gaga, she can sing. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to about some heavy themes. It's going to be emotional. And I feel like this is going to expand the lore of who Joker is within himself and how the world perceives him. And I think that's what Todd Phillips is slowly unwrapping is okay, we know what type of character Joker is with Batman, but this is kind of like a psychological study on him between these two movies, and I can't wait to see the first trailer. I can't wait to see to hear the music, the soundtrack. I can't wait to see the violence. I can't wait to see how Harley Quinn and Joker, Arthur Fleck interact within this movie. Like, I cannot wait. And seeing multiple versions of Joker and how at the end of the first movie, his influence of that world and how he kind of operates and, being him in Arkham Asylum and how that, I am hyped for this movie and I can't wait to watch it.
One, I got a question for both you, Miss Cap and Mr. Oyman. Like JT said, this is like, oh, jeez.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It just rang in my ear. But this movie is not just a musical. The director came out and said
We'll
it's
have musical segments.
well, he came out and said it's a full blown musical. Like he stated that himself.
Really? I didn't know
that was like
Yep.
I was reading it on the
Shit.
actual thing that I just had pulled up on the thing. He came out and said it's a full blown musical. Take that as you will. I mean, maybe his interpretation is different than
Interesting.
ours, but that makes a huge departure from the overall type of movie genre that the first one is. Do you guys think that might impact on how it is received by the audience? Because obviously, not every comic book fan or every noir fan is a fan of musical. Or do you guys think like what they're cooking over there is going to be so good that it's not even going to matter that they kind of just switched genres on us?
The
I
latter,
think-
what you just said.
I think that it's going to be like its own like category itself. Like
Yeah.
it's a noir film. It's it's a super villain origin story type deal. It's gonna be a musical, which almost threw me off a little bit. I was just like, okay, how are they going to do that? I've never seen musical type ish on a like well known any just superhero character. Like I've ever seen that ever happen. That's what I'm saying. It's like a category in its own because this is never, not that I've known, like where a superhero
Yeah.
and super villain has happened, and now it's happened. We're like, okay. So I'm slightly intrigued, but I'm really curious of how it's going to work within the context of what story they're trying to portray. It's good to get Lady Gaga for it. Like, I think she's going to do really well. She already has acting skills. Like, you've seen how she acts. She's done really well.
Yeah,
She sings
fantastic.
amazingly. So the fact that now, I think I've ever heard Joaquin Phoenix sing. I don't know if
Walk the
it's a
Line.
movie of him singing.
He's saying Johnny Cash and Walk the Line.
Okay, so I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know how his singing skills are. Probably have to watch like a movie where he sings to see a gauge of how like his variety of ways. But
He doesn't sing very often. He's not a Broadway singer.
so that's why I'm like, I want to see how that dynamic and what type of story are they trying to put out? Because like the Joker, right? When that first came out, a typical like villain origin story type, So I'm actually, I'm let's say I'm just gonna say it like this. I'm excited to see how it's done, and when they come out with a trailer, we'll think about it some more. So I'm just gonna take it as a thing. It looks good, but I'll wait for the trailer to really get my final thoughts on it.
Yeah, me personally,
Now,
I thought.
have.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Mr. Oyman.
Okay, so me personally, I think it's going to be. I'm very excited. I'm deliriously excited for this movie. It's my most anticipated movie for the next freaking 20 months. I have full faith that Todd Phillips knows what he's doing. I don't think, obviously, the first one made $1 billion on a very small budget, so Warner wanted them to do another one. So yeah, a lot of it is because money. But the fact that he's already finished filming, the movie doesn't come out for another year and a half. He's going to have plenty of time to edit it down, reshoot anything that needs to be reshot. Plenty of time to do test screenings. It's not being rushed. I think if he's going to do a Joker standalone Joker and Harley Quinn movie, and he's going to make it a musical, there's a very good reason for why that will be. And I think it's going to blow people away. I think people who are hearing that it's a musical and are like, I don't want to see it, I think they're going to end up watching it or hearing it's really good, and then they'll see it and be like, it'll change their mind. Now, obviously, we won't know until it comes out. It could come out and be extremely underwhelming. That's a potential. I don't think that will happen, but that is potential, obviously, with any movie. But I do have full faith in Todd Phillips and Joaquin. I think they're going to deliver another great movie like they did with the first one.
Yeah, I'm more in Miss Cap's type of camp where I'm just going to wait out and see how it looks. Because when I first heard about a sequel, I'm like, why? I feel like the first movie was the perfect one and done, solid story, beginning, middle, and end. Didn't need a thing. And I'm not big on musicals. I do enjoy some here and there. But the fact that they came out and said it was going to be a musical and started adding like Harley Quinn and such, I'm like, okay, that actually, in my opinion, worked for my curiosity, which now makes me want to see it, to see what the hell are they going to do with this. So they got my ticket there, but I want to say cautiously optimistic. I hope that they prove me wrong in that and the fact that I thought it didn't need a sequel. And I'm hoping that the musical numbers are fun, similar to like something like La La Land, or even some of the musical aspects from Lady Gaga's last movie with music in it, A Star Is Born. I'm hoping that it's close along the lines of those type of things, where not everything is sung like in Les Mis, but it does have some nice, catchy, fun music to it. So, well, in my opinion, I'm just gonna wait out and see how it looks over time, and I'm glad that they are taking their time with it to hopefully bring out something that's very respectable and a fine addition to the what was it, 2019 movie?
Yeah, I'm
2019.
just glad they're just doing something different. Like, we've never had a superhero villain movie that is like a musical, other than, really nothing. Closest thing is maybe some Disney animated show about the villains, and there's songs in there. I don't really know. But
Aladdin 5,
like this,
Jafar's
never been
musical.
done.
I don't know. Probably happened.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? But I'm interested. Very excited.
Yeah. And before we move on to the trailers that we got, and of course Davel's not here to share his thoughts on Superman, which is the one I was going to pick his brain. Before I move on to that, there is something that came out today that I didn't get a chance to put on the board, because it came out while I was at work today. It looks like the Duffer Brothers announced that Stranger Things is getting an animated series that they're basing it off a Saturday morning cartoons type of feel, which, again, I wish Mr. Joestar was here. This would have been right up his alley. I quote them, and this is from thehollywoodreporter.com, but the quote that the Duffer Brothers said is, "We've always dreamed of an animated Stranger Things in vein of a Saturday morning cartoons that we grew up loving, and to see this dream realized is absolutely thrilling. We couldn't be more blown away with what Eric Robles and his team have come up with. The script, the artwork are incredible, and we cannot wait to share more with you. The adventure continues." I'll start with you, Miss Cap, because I know you are probably the biggest Stranger Things fan in this panel right here.
Stranger fan.
How do you feel about this? Like, are you all in?
I'm all in, honestly. Like, I think I'm in way too deep to not be excited by this. But no, I'm all in for this. It's like season 5. Gonna start filming in May, June-ish. If nothing gets pushed back, at the end of May they start filming season 5, and it'll be within it'll be come back in late 2024. hopefully not delayed into 2025 because that would blow my mind. But I'm in for this. Honestly, if I can get more Stranger Things in my life, I would do anything. And I'm gonna put my hands in the Duffer Brothers. You know, they've done well uh, so far, and I don't think they would let us down with anything that they wouldn't put 110% in. So, all in. I'm all in. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. I mean, they're coming out with a play. You know, I don't know if like that's another thing, but they're coming out with like a Stranger Things play about way back in the 50s with like high school Joyce and Hopper and like it's gonna be even like I'm like I feel so awful that like I'm not in the area where they're gonna like have it, but like it's gonna be great. I'm all in.
All right, Mr. Oyman, I know you're also a fan of the show, and of course JT. So right here, since it's in vein of it's in vain.
Can't see the screen.
Well, no, there's nothing on the screen. This is my input.
You said right here.
No, I'm saying like right here on the channel on this episode.
Okay.
Since it's in vein of Saturday morning cartoons, watch party at your theater room, wearing onesies, and cereal. Who's down?
I'll be.
Okay, now that would get me to watch it.
Yeah, we'll do like a Friday, like fucking spend the night at your theater room, and then wake up real early in the morning with like Lucky Charms or Fruity Pebbles or something, something we all like, and watch it at like 8 in the morning. Nah, that actually sounds pretty cool. I'm pretty sure if we run that by Johnny Joestar, he'll be like, yes, let's do this, man, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know if they're doing?
So
Do we know if they're doing the whole season at once, or is it a week-to-week thing?
I don't know anything at all, really. Barely little.
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, we know it's happening, but that's a good question.
Netflix, though?
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously Netflix, so
Sounds like
probably
Netflix. Probably
Yeah,
the
but
full
then
release.
if they really do want to capture,
like they did with Arcane.
yeah, like what if they do want to capture that Saturday night or Saturday morning cartoons and only release it on Saturday mornings each episode? That'd be pretty crazy.
Ooh,
That'd be
kind of cool.
like 8:00 Eastern, 8 a.m. Like you gotta wake up Saturday, like watch the next episode. Like that's pretty awesome.
That would be interesting.
And speaking of cartoons, of course, like I mentioned a second ago, we do have our first. Wait, what the fuck did I click on? Nope, wrong
What did
button.
you click on?
I don't know anymore.
What the fuck did I do wrong? Tell me.
Oh,
All right.
no!
So we got our first look at an Adult Swim cartoon that, again, Mr. Davell requested. My Adventures with Superman. Not a lot going on, but we do get a look at how the overall look of it is going to be. And, oh, what the heck? Hold on. We got a good look on how the animation style is going to be. It reminds me a lot of Invincible, stuff like that. Will y'all be tuning in for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it going to be on? HBO?
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim.
Adult
yeah.
Swim.
Adult Swim.
Okay. So I guess it's not going to be geared towards kids then.
Probably not.
But honestly, I'm excited about that. I'm like, let's get a Superman in just like weird compromising positions. You know?
Whoa, yeah, and
it's supposed
Like a
to be.
Harley Quinn show, but for Superman.
hold on, and
Yeah.
not only that, but where is it? I saw a picture of the thing. Man, his dong is like almost sticking out of that damn fucking underwear. I was like, there's no reason for. I know it's on Adult Swim, but there's no reason for him to like pack a giant salami inside of that pants. But it's it just had me going. But
Brett.
the second trailer we got last week, obviously, that was also making its runs over the internet was the Barbie
Come on,
trailer.
Barbie. Let's go, Barbie.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I don't have much to say because the more I hear about this movie, the more confused I get. So what are y'all's thoughts on the trailer now that we have somewhat an idea of what's going to go on? Could anyone explain to me what exactly this movie is about still? I don't know.
It's about Barbie. What?
I kind of read.
Listen.
I read plot leaks for
this
it.
movie is going to be colorful, magical.
Yeah, we know that.
Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling.
Well, you didn't sell Pluto on the Margot Robbie.
I mean, Will Ferrell as the CEO of Mattel. What more can you ask for? And it's going to go up against Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, and it's going to be amazing. Like this movie, you don't need to know the plot. All you need to know is that Barbie's living in the Barbie world and she wants to be in the real world. That's all you need to do. It's gonna be a lot of dick jokes. It's gonna be a lot of sexual innuendos because it's Barbie. It's gonna be a lot of sexualization because it's Barbie.
Because it's a kid's
Barbie is everything.
It's going to be.
They're all
like
Kens.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be colorful. It's directed Greta Gerwig, who did Lady Bird and Little Women. It's gonna be awesome. So
and Francis Ha.
Forget everything. Just sit back, watch the movie, and let your brain cells melt because this is exactly what this movie is going to be about.
This movie's for.
Swimsuits, colorfulness, vulgar,
and this is like the first time we're getting like a movie about like.
Well, I'm not
action figure, but like like something like a doll that I love and know that's been here for like 65 years. Like, why wouldn't we have something like this? We can do one for games. We can do one for superheroes. Why not have one for something that has been here just as long?
Well, my question was, again, it wasn't like a knock or anything. I'm like genuinely perplexed. Like when they first announced this, I'm like, I don't give a crap. Like whatever. I didn't grow up with Barbies, obviously, and stuff like that. But then they started talking about it, and I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. Like, what is this about? It was like the curiosity aspect, kind of like the musical part of the
Joker.
The Joker. That what's it called? That why is it saying that there's copyright? There's literally a blank screen on my fucking window. Why is it saying copyright?
Food's ready.
But it curiosity got me interested in seeing. Okay, I'll wait for a trailer to see what type of movie is this. Like, is this for kids technically? Is it for adults? Once a trailer
more for adults, but okay for kids.
But that's what I was wondering.
Political messages and comedy and stuff.
It just made me wonder. Like, I thought this trailer would give me more of since it's not a teaser trailer anymore, it's an actual trailer. I thought I would get more answers as to what type of movie this is.
That'll be the next trailer.
Yeah, and I was like, this still doesn't show me what exactly I'm in for if I go watch this movie, which is, I guess, both genius, but it's also strange. But I'm glad that
honestly, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad that you guys are on board. I just that's how they get me to watch a Barbie movie.
You don't have to be excited for it. You don't need to know what it's about. You got to just sit there and fucking view it with your eyes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
the Barbiness.
Like, it would be marketing genius if they get me to go watch this movie based on confusion that I don't know what's going on. So I'm just like, let me just go see what it is.
Watch it just still be confusing until you go watch it, and then you refuse to tell anybody what it's about. You're like, you just got to go experience it. Tell you anything. Just go and then we can talk about it. Like, just keep it a mystery the entire time.
And, of course, the final trailer we did get was the biggest trailer for me, and one that I was really looking forward to. We got our first official, like, long look at Across the Spider-Verse. The sequel to the fantastic Into the Spider-Verse. Did this trailer impress y'all like you thought it would, or was it a miss? All right, I'll let you go, Miss Cap. And what got you hooked on this?
Honestly, just the fact that we were getting a sequel. Like, it didn't matter like anything else. The first one was fantastic. amazing. The amazing different art styles and anime. That's such a great work on it. And now that we're getting like a sequel with even more Spider-Mans and just going deeper and deeper into the different types of Spider-Mans there actually are. And just honestly amazing. But they saw me when when they talked about what's it Earth was
Or 1999.
like told me on that. I'm like, all right, so it sold me on everything. Like, I don't even care anything as long as I go watch it. I know I'm gonna have a fun time. It's gonna have heart. It's gonna have that. It's gonna be special. Like,
Stunning animation.
yeah, just amazing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm super stoked for it. I'm also stoked that for once again, Spider-Man fans get a Peter Parker that's able to have a baby and be happy with Mary Jane. And for some reason, the editors at Marvel Comics refuse to let us have a good happy Peter Parker for once, even if he does have other types of issues. But yeah, no, I'm just glad the animation looks obviously similar to the first one, but I'd say they upgraded it to the point where it looks even better, and the fact that there's just on the trailer alone a few different like styles already to it.
Several different styles.
Yeah, it just makes it look so dynamic, so refreshing, so cool. Would you agree with that, JT?
Yes, I agree. And another thing is that I kind of feel like this movie is a living comic book like that, like is the first one, and I'm pretty glad. Plus, we have to see this movie in IMAX. There is no way that we can just see this at home. Like, come on, we have to see this movie in IMAX. Like,
I wish it was in 3D.
it's so.
First one was great in 3D.
Well, in 3D,
Can't do
maybe, but in IMAX,
No,
I
they're
mean,
not
it
doing
looks
it in 3D.
colorful.
I wish they were.
It looks like it kind of has a darker tone than the first one, especially also is kind of build this relationship between Spider Gwen and also Miles Morales. See how with the complications of the Spider Verse in general, like how maybe the love will kind of prevail through. And also, this is part one of a bigger story, and so depending on how this ends, it could be a cliffhanger. We have to wait maybe next year for part two. But I am looking forward to this movie. Again, I mean, Lloyd Miller or whatever, like they're doing a great job in expanding the lore of Spider-Man, and I cannot wait to see Oscar Isaac being the bad guy and destroying Miles Morales for something that he didn't or didn't do. I don't know what it is, but again, seeing all these Spider-Man from different games and from different universes, and I mean, it's just incredible.
Man, could you imagine? Could you just picture what type of like huge W that these Sony executives are probably cheering in? The fact that they're releasing this movie and the new Spider-Man game that also has Miles Morales and Peter Parker within the same, like within half a year apart. Like, man, they're just
it's a win.
Yeah, they're just gonna be
people love
money
Spider-Man
right.
no matter what version of him, like Spider-Man. And like my third graders absolutely goes over Spider-Man. Doesn't matter if it's Peter Parker or Miles Morales. Like they used to ask me like, Peter Parker or Miles Morales, which Spider-Man do you like best? And I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna have this conversation for the 10th time, but like everybody loves Spider-Man. Like you can't help but like not like him.
Yeah.
If you don't like one version of him, there are like plenty of different versions of him you might like. Like just one, you know? That's what people like about it.
Yeah, so Sony execs right now are literally with
money
in their mind, but you know which execs aren't having a good time? It is Warner Brother and Discovery. They are once again
already moving on. Okay.
making. Oh, wait, did you have something to say, Mr. Oyman?
No, you never asked me anything, so go.
Oh, my bad. I thought I did. I thought you chimed in.
No, you're
What,
good.
What's your
No, it's
feelings?
okay, go ahead. I want to talk. I actually do want to talk about Warner Brothers and Discovery. So,
Okay.
Warner
Yeah,
and Discovery are definitely not having as good a time as Sony is right now.
no, they just can't stop getting sued, man. They were sued not too long ago because they lied about their numbers. They're canning things left and right. They're trying to get DC off the ground. They're trying to get their gaming department to be successful again, and now they got Congress, the U.S. Congress, basically on their ass because unlike Sony that's making money, they're probably going to lose money. They cost they're over there screaming in their offices.
You know how much I sacrificed?
And yeah, they sacrificed about $43 billion to get Warner Brothers under Discovery. And right now it seems like they're getting blasted by Congress now because of anti-competitive laws that they might get sued, and they're even proposing that they have to undo the merging because it's not only causing anti-competitive stuff, which means that they could jack up the prices and put and they're also, due to the merger, canceling stuff left and right. Like they even talk about the $90 million they had to eat for Batgirl. That is causing economic opportunities for workers to go out the window. So, man, what is going on over there at Warner Brothers? It's just like every other week they're getting sued or they're on the headlines for something that's not good. How does this bode for how do you think it bodes for them, Mr. Oyman?
It does not bode very well. I'm trying to remember who I heard was going to buy up. Basically, Discovery bought up Warner's so they could shake things up. They're trying to. Their plan was to buy up Warner Brothers, and then turn it into something presentable and sellable to another company. I forget which other one. Maybe it was. Yeah, I can't remember. It was another huge ass company, but with the way that things have been going, their movies are tanking. They're spending too much on budgets. Their stars are getting in trouble. Directors are quitting. Shit's getting canceled left and right. I know Warner Brothers will be okay in the long run just because of how long they've been around, but it is a tough time for them. I mean, really, all the movie studios are kind of going through shit right now. Disney is, Paramount a little bit, not as much as Warner's, of course, but I know that eventually they'll turn it. It'll turn itself around and get on the upswing. It'll probably take a couple years, but yeah, I didn't really actually hear. I did not know about the whole Congress getting involved, but that makes a lot of sense considering they have all these huge tax write-offs for multi-million-dollar projects that are just getting canned, and it's
like they
what
said,
are you doing?
They're doing not only anti-competitive stuff, but again, a while ago they were getting sued by their investors themselves because they were fudging numbers, and like half of the fans that demanded for the hashtag release the Snyder Cut turned out to be bot accounts created by Warner Brothers themselves. So they're doing some really, really weird shit, and I don't know, being DC fans, Miss Cap and JT, like, does that scare y'all that they're going through all this shit and they just can't catch a break, considering that now it seems like Warner Brothers is cursed. I don't know who put a curse on him or something, but I mean, if I was a separate company after Discovery, I would not touch him with a 10-foot stick. But what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I would not want to apply at Warner Brothers. I know that much.
They just got to get their shit together, man. Like,
they've been trying that for years.
I know, and it's just like it's kind of scary for DC. DC's got all this stuff lined up and changes they want to make, but if Warner Brothers,
they have to survive.
They're dealing with this shit, man. If Warner Brother has, like, God forbid, like, worst case, like, Warner Brother has to, like, sell rights, these rights to different people, it's gonna get crazy. Disney. Oh my gosh, never get out of the Disney, like, domain. It's gonna be crazy.
Well, here's the deal. I imagine they just tank as soon as we start, like, the first Superman movie.
We were so close!
I know.
But
yeah.
you're talking about DC potentially going somewhere, and James Gunn did come out and say, because it actually transitions well into, hey, what if Disney does buy DC, and this will make this Madman's idea more. So it looks like James Gunn has said that there is potential for, in the future, not near, but in the future, Marvel DC crossover. He says, and I quote, "I'd be lying to say we haven't discussed it." Let's see what other.
Because he knows Disney's gonna buy DC. That's why.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Imagine though. But yeah, he says don't expect anything on that in the immediate future. That's many years away. But since he has worked with both Marvel and has a hotline connection to Kevin Feige, he does say that they've had very light, fun discussions about it. And how do you guys feel if this does happen? Like, when do you guys estimate that they would push, like, I guess this would be the DEFCON 1 button? Like, maybe the movies aren't doing too hot anymore. Kang Dynasty goes down the shitter. Superman can't get off the ground. It's like another wet fart, and they press the button to have DC mix with Marvel. How, like,
No, I know.
All right,
no,
JT, I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so here's the reason why.
Here we go. Hot take.
I don't. Disney should not buy DC because they're two separate entities. We have discussions each and every day as comic book lovers between who is better, Marvel or DC. This has been going on for like 20 or 30 or 40 years. I don't know. But if they merge, there'll be no competition. It would just be Disney, which pisses my ass. I don't want that. I don't care. DC has to maintain the course. Please, because I don't want, again, a Marvel DC crossover could be kind of cool. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet until at least DC movies are on par or just kind of level-headed with Marvel movies. And right now, Marvel movies are not doing a great job. DC, on the other hand, is trending the up. We don't know.
Worse.
But I don't want Disney to buy DC because, for one, that creates a huge-ass monopoly, and we don't want that. It's all about healthy competition. If these movies, DC movies, goes well, all that money will go to Disney. Or it might be split 50-50. I don't care. But still, I just want, that's why James Gunn is over there, to fix the mess that Warner Brothers made over there. Again, he'll be all say, okay, if Marvel and DC, I will love a crossover. I really do.
Huh?
But
you better hope you love the crossover. I sent my mole over there to DC. And pretty soon, after I buy DC, I will be the ruler of the world, and you're going to have to work for me. You hear that, JT? The Screen Crusaders. The Screen Crusaders.
Ready for some DP.
I gotta say,
I don't want that. I do not want that. I want DC become, doing the old thing, and Marvel does their own thing, because DC is dark and gritty. Marvel's all lighthearted and everything. I mean,
that's what I have to say.
Because I just want a separation between DC and Marvel, so we can just debate all the time. This is healthy debate. But if they merge together, there'll be no debating. There'll be nothing. It'll just be freaking a big old conglomerate where, like, we won't have YouTube channels anymore about who's better, Marvel or DC. It'll just be one big thing. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how, Disney brought up DC, and now DC's movies are trending up and up because of Walt Disney's influence, and how James Gunn and Kevin Feige are buddies again,
well.
and
Still won't do well.
Exactly.
You know why? It won't. I'll tell you exactly why
please.
it won't do well if Disney buys it up. Because they're going to Disney-fy DC, which is already, like I said, JT, gritty, dark and gritty. Like, one of these characters in DC is a stand-up person. They have different flaws. They all have personal type deal, so much. They Disney-fy it, no one want to go see a DC movie. No one wants to see Batman. Okay, we go see Batman because he's dark, he's gritty, he gets the job done, he does things that may not be, but is right in his eyes. Like no one. If we want to get Superman movies every 5 years, like that's shitty. No one wants to see that. See the dark, gritty, dark, uh, superheroes. But it never worked. You may be like, oh, Disney's gonna get money. They're money, getting DC. That's in my opinion. They would lose
But
money.
also, like one more thing though, DC has as a great villains. And what if Disney fired those villains?
No,
That'd
that'll
be
be
pretty lame.
I don't think
That'd be
Disney's ever going to get
awful.
DC, so I don't think there's anything to worry
It's
about.
never gonna
No.
happen.
Yo, but it'd be funny though. Like, imagine the day of reckoning that would be on the Snyder fans. Like, Jesus, man, that'd be just. They'd have to go hide and never see the light of day again. Because remember back in 2015, right before BVS came out, they were all on the forums being like, oh, get ready, you guys had your time. And now there's a tidal wave coming for you guys. You guys are going to get smoked by BVS. It's going to be the biggest movie of all time. And, geez, no, they seeing the first Snyderverse gets canceled and loses to Marvel, and then imagine James Gunn's universe loses to Marvel, and then DC gets bought by Disney.
Less money than Captain Marvel.
Yeah, no, it won't happen. I doubt if anti-competitive laws by the FTC are getting in the way of Discovery and Warner Brothers in itself. I don't think they will allow the Disney to buy up another. Like, they were able to get away with Star Wars or Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Fox because the FTC and the other regulatory systems of back then were letting a lot more things slide, but they're definitely cracking down on like big tech and big companies like Disney nowadays, because we are seeing some stuff that potentially is hurting the consumers in the long run. But that being said, we've noticed that Marvel has stopped talking about the releases. I mean, they quietly, like, they released a trailer for Secret Invasion, and they also gave us a release date, but they waited till almost pretty close to the last moment, I would say. And they've been very hush-hush about a lot of their projects and how they're going along. And other stuff that's coming out that's clear that heads seem to be rolling over there, and the MCU's not doing as good as they want to. Is at first you had the VFX head that has been there for 17 years, Victoria Alonso. She gets out, and she does not really go out quietly. Like, at first they're like, oh yeah, there's rumors that she was creating a toxic workplace, and some of the reasons why the VFX are so bad. But then she went out and said, no, I was pushed out. She's pulling the like gender and race and all any type of card she could pull out, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did push her out on some aspects. But she's trying to secure that bag and basically sue them for it. And then on a second big surprise is Perlmutter also got booted, and they're like, oh yeah, no, he got laid off. He basically retired. And then the guy's like, whoa. He came out and said that is not at all how it happened. I was kicked out of Marvel. So what do you think is going on over there, Mr. Oyman? Do you think this is all based on the performance of the recent movies and the receptions that both the critics and some of the audience are having with Marvel? Or do you think this is just a natural progression that would have happened regardless if those things occurred? Like, do you think it's coincidental, or are heads really rolling and performances are going down?
Only money related. I mean, yeah, let's say, what is it called? Spider-Man No Way Home did absolutely banger money. A lot of that is because it's Sony's property, but since then, Disney has not had one. Disney went all year last year without a $1 billion hit, and easily spent, as more money in their movies than they have been because I mean, there's the stuff with Disney Plus, putting stuff out on Disney Plus. They've trained a lot of people to just skip theatrical releases and wait till Disney Plus. And now they're not getting new subscribers for Disney Plus, so Disney Plus content, they're starting to lose money on that front. The industry, they're obviously scooping up a lot of the VFX artists and not mistreating them, which is part of the reason why Alonzo was let go, because that was her kind of department. But absolutely everything, all the change ups, it's all happening because their movies are not performing to the same extent that they used to, and it's because the level of excitement just isn't there anymore. Like we had the build up to Endgame. Now everything since then, there isn't a clear direction for where they're going with the MCU. They've introduced so many new properties and new characters without having them really connect in a way that most general audiences are able to see. Obviously, Ant-Man, they had a lot riding on that. They were hoping that would be a strong kickoff, and it definitely underperformed. It still made them some money, but not a whole lot. A lot of people say it was a bomb or a flop. It wasn't. It did make money, just definitely underperformed. And the they're pushing a lot of their TV shows. They are looking at the amount of money they've been spending, which I guess I haven't read up too much on how Ike Perlmutter. I mean, I know that Ike Perlmutter was like the one back in the day who vetoed Feige wanting to do a Captain Marvel movie and a Black Panther movie. Like the reason why those didn't come sooner was because of Ike Perlmutter. So enough of the Disney board saw that this guy who's got a very like kind of old school thought process as a CEO or producer. They're like, okay, yeah, he's got to go. He's holding the company back too much, and the company is only able to thrive whenever decisions were made. Not from him. Obviously, Captain Marvel and Black Panther each did $1 billion. So had Ike Perlmutter had his way, those movies wouldn't have brought a lot of success to Disney. But I mean, they're facing a lot of shit right now. I think a lot of it is still the pre-pandemic era. A lot of people don't really know what like how to spend. Like obviously, we have technology to make movies look amazing, but with streaming playing such a big role and movies returns being less, they're just making less money than they used to because people are waiting for streaming now. Like you've conditioned everyone to just wait, and they can see a multi-million, $100 million budgeted movie for essentially paying $10 for a streaming service instead of paying 10, $15 for a movie ticket. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on. It's kind of interesting to see how everything is playing out right now. I'm not personally worried, but I'm very curious just to see how it all does play out. I am kind of glad I'm not in the film industry or working very closely within Disney or anything, because I feel like it would just be very stressful right now. It's got to be a very stressful environment from what I have been hearing.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
like you said, Mr. Oyman, this has to do with money and budgets, because that's at the end of the day what this company is here. They make a product so that we could spend our money and they could make more and line their pockets, make new projects, cycle, just rinse and repeat. But if it comes to budget cuts and they're cutting off some of the heads that have been there for a while, JT, how does this bode for you in terms of those rumors we've been hearing that they're probably going to start cutting certain projects that they have already announced? Do you think that now, looking at all the data that we've been seeing in the past year and a half, do you think that's closer to being a true possibility? Or do you think the Marvel machine is too strong and they're just going to try to power through and hope for the best? What are your thoughts?
This situation is funny to me because, like a lot of Marvel fans were kind of shitting on DC fans of how they were going through and how this and that. And then, DC is trending on the right track. But now Marvel's over here just scraping and calling because we're not excited. Of course. Of course this is the fact. For me personally, I don't really care anymore. Um, I don't really care what Marvel has to offer at all. I mean, the one thing I'm looking forward to is the Daredevil show. That'd be really cool. But besides that, just like Mr. Armin said, like we have Disney Plus. If we really want to relive like phase 1, 2, and 3, Disney Plus is there for us to kind of reminisce those old movies where we used to wait in line at midnight on a Friday, Thursday night to go see Endgame, go see Infinity War, go see Civil War, go see the first Avengers, go see Iron Man. I mean, like that Marvel excitement isn't there for me. I'm like, I don't really care at this point. I don't care because for one, I'm a Marvel and DC fan, but I'm a DC fan around like 55% of the time, 45% Marvel. And number two is the Simon's gone. I mean, again, Kang is the big bad, but he's not really on Thanos level. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. The Disney Plus shows were kind of was kind of cool, but is there anything leading up to it? No, pretty much. No, the only movie that I enjoyed from Phase 4 was Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. I mean, No Way Home was kind of up there, but you know that was like a fans. We are so sorry for causing you all this trouble. Let's make a Spider-Man where Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire
So like an
be the
apology.
main, and all these other people. Like I don't count that because for one, that's our fan service. It made $1 billion. Okay, fine, whatever. What have you done with me lately? Multiverse of Madness. That was really good. And so, again, me as a DC slash Marvel fan, okay, whatever. It's fine. Do all these cuts, right? Marvel fans can just like screw themselves while
Suck
DC
it.
fans over here
Man,
slowly grinding
he's
out
like
the mud.
that what I'm talking about earlier. He's like that tidal wave that didn't come is coming now. I hope that JT's like, I hope they cancel all your Marvel shit. He's trying to hit the Marvel fans with the
because you know DC fans have feel like this for a
See,
very
it's still
long time. When you guys were making billions of dollars, we was over here dealing with the Suicide Squad in 2016, the Harley Quinn movie, which I enjoyed, but none of the critical amount of success. All this and that and the other, all these projects and all the Snyder Cut stuff. Marvel, it's your turn to do all this shit. It is your turn to feel what we felt. And that's why you don't have James Gunn. If James Gunn was over there right now, Marvel, he will set things straight because he's a go-getter. Him and Kevin Feige will do the dirty work. But we have James Gunn in DC. So we are in pretty good hands. Plus, we have Matt Reeves directing the freaking Batman, the Batman Part 2 with freaking Clayface. Marvel fans, I don't care. I don't really care. Bring out the Marvels in November. Bring out Blade. I don't really care. Bring out whatever. I am on the positive end of this crap, of this equation, because, yeah. So, Marvel fans, you can suck it. Suck it really hard. I will
Oh,
still go
man,
watch the movies
JT.
if I am anticipated.
Can't wait till
Yeah.
tomorrow.
But suck it.
all right. We're escorting
All the
security.
all the toxic people coming out tomorrow after the Marvels trailer drops.
Oh shit! You said the fucking trigger word. But Miss Cap, similar question to you, but
Yeah?
like I'll make it a little bit more like streamlined, instead of
Minus
more
the
broad. If they do end up canceling, let's say 1 or 2 projects, which ones do you think are more likely to get the boot out of the ones that they've announced?
And honestly, I don't know. Probably one that they have not probably even started filming yet. So they would push or even cancel maybe like King Dynasty, like the big one. If they're
That's
doing
true,
a
'cause we don't even know.
restructure,
We don't know what's happening with that guy.
we don't know the future of King right now. So honestly, that would be probably one of their reconstructions. Are like, oh, that's canceled. We're gonna go in a different direction. But I still think we're probably gonna get the Marvel's Secret Invasion. We're obviously gonna get that. But like, definitely the ones that's supposed to come out like early 2025. Those are definitely going to be delayed or even canceled altogether. So
Imagine the backlash. Like I was thinking, like Vision Quest would get like booted, or even freaking like the Wonder Man or like
Updates about that though. They're still moving forward with that.
some hokey dokey thing. But man, you're over there dropping like, oh yeah, what if they cancel Kang Dynasty? Man, imagine the total meltdown that we live in the timeline where they cancel Kang Dynasty but leave the Marvels and Vision Quest to be put out.
No. Wait.
Cancel Deadpool 3.
Yeah, that's when Marvel fans will be switching over as fast as The Rock did after Black Adam.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
But moving on to the final topic of the shit. I mean, maybe that might be the best. I don't know if they could pull it off. I mean, it's I know they have their fan base, but it is hard to do a Fantastic Four movie apparently.
Shouldn't be.
But the last topic of the evening is the Star Wars Celebration. So we got a plethora of new news in regarding to that franchise. So to kick it off, the biggest ones were that they announced more live action stuff. So they announced stuff that James Mangold, who is also writing and directing Swamp Thing for DC, he is also going to be doing a a new movie that goes back to like the past, even I think the Old Republic. It's gonna go down like I think they said 2,500 years earlier, past like Phantom Menace to when like the first Jedi Order and stuff will be going on. Which in my opinion, that sounds pretty freaking cool. They got like an open sandbox they could do whatever they want, and it most likely will not impact the actual franchise in the future. If anything, it could only elevate it, in my opinion, if they do it right. Is that something you guys would be interested to watch, or is it like, kind of like we did earlier with we'll see and wait?
I would be excited because they need to do something fresh with Star Wars. They've been doing the same shit over and over and over again. We need something. Stop. We can get away from the Skywalker saga shit. Like, I like it all, but like, give us something new. There's so much you can do with Star Wars, and there's so much potential. So that's probably the thing I'd be most excited for is this whatever Knights of the Old Republic kind of setting. I don't even know if it's Knights of the Old Republic, but it's set like 1,000 years.
It like even might predate that.
Yeah,
if at that.
Like, I guess it would be like about the creation of the Jedi and Sith or something. I don't know, but that sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah. Do JT and Miss Cat feel on board too, or do you guys want to see more within like the realm of characters that we've already seen? Maybe explore kind of like the Book of Boba Fett explored Boba Fett. Would y'all rather they stay on that, or is this going back in time to where it's so far removed that they could do something fresh, more exciting in y'all's eyes?
Yeah, so I'm
I
not a
don't know
huge Star
much.
Wars fan, but I have seen the new Skywalker trilogy. I'm currently watching The Mandalorian season 3, and I've seen all the good stuff. But I mean, for me, I'm a moviegoer. I mean, Star Wars is kind of cool. So if first of all James Mangold's directing it, yeah, I'm gonna go see it regardless. Like learning about Star Wars have a huge lore to it, so much depth and meaning to it. So I'm kind of glad that they're expanding everything that they have in their arsenal. And so I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I kind of pick projects here and there that seems eye opening in my eye, and so I'm down to whatever they have. I mean, not like every project I'm like gonna be watching it, like because that's what maniac Star Wars fans are. No offense, but as for me as a moviegoer, I kind of love character development, a great script, great direction, great visual effects, great villain, and so if they have at least those 4 or 5 components in the live action movie, yeah, I'm down for it.
And I don't know much about Star Wars. I've only seen one movie in my entire lifetime. I still don't remember which movie that was. One of the original trilogy. So I of my wheelhouse. I don't know who half of these characters are, who any. I don't know anything. I'm not a Star Wars person. I never got into it. Not saying I never will, but I've only
You just
seen
haven't
one
yet.
movie, and I was forced to watch it because it was at school. So I don't
Man,
know anything.
at least you got to watch something cool at school, man. The movies we watched were kind of ass. But
It was like
I got to see
during
Limitless at school.
testing time and stuff, and so we were like, all right, we're gonna watch it, and then we had to write like a paper over it or something. I don't know.
yeah, that takes the fun out of that. I thought it was just like one of those. Here's a treat, you get movie day.
Nah.
But
Nah.
Mr. Oyman, have you been watching Mandalorian season 3?
Oh, you weren't at dinner when we talked about it.
Wait, what?
Wait, can
No.
you hear me all right?
No, he was not.
Hear me all right? Yeah, yeah, I've been watching Mando season 3. It's
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm enjoying it, but it's not about
Din Djarin anymore.
no. It's a
He's
little
kind of
bit.
become
It's a little bit
sidelined.
more aimless, right? Am I the only one that gets that feeling?
No,
Like,
it is for
it-
sure. And
And
my dad, because I started watching it with my dad the other day, and we got about halfway through the season. My dad was like, "Oh, I don't know why they're saying that the ratings are so low on this season. I'm loving this so far." And I'm like,
Yeah.
just wait.
It does play better watching it all together, one after the other. Like the connective tissue feels a little more connective than watching it week to week. But yeah, it is a little bit aimless, much like Boba Fett. Not that bad, but kind of close.
Well,
It's like
I will say I was starting to get a feeling that this was going to be the case, and now the confirmation's out of the bag between that and Ahsoka. It's the fact that this movie seems to be nothing but build up. It's like if it has been feeling like the Age of Ultron
season, you mean?
Yeah, it's been feeling like the Age of Ultron of Mandalorian, of like that time frame, and the second movie that they announced was that Dave Filoni is going to be making a movie, and I told my wife, I'm like, I feel like they're going to lead this into either like an Avengers style show, or it's going to be a movie, and it's obviously going to be a movie where it's going to focus on this New Republic, kind of gap the bridge between The Mandalorian, which is post Return of the Jedi and before The Force Awakens, and they're connecting that tissue on how the New Order came to power and this and that. Moff Gideon is probably going to be a big part of that, and General Thrawn, I think, is the name that's going to be Thrawn. There you go. I always forget how to pronounce it. That's going to be in the show coming out in August, which is one of the reveals. We got an Ahsoka trailer that they're saying it's going to come out in August of this year, but Dave is going to get his own movie that's going to be a accumulation of Rebels, of this, of Ahsoka, and it seems
Boba Fett.
Yeah, and Boba Fett, and it's all going to come together. They're going to start, I guess, building upon that New Order threat, and it just makes sense now. I feel like while Mandalorian is a little bit aimless, it's still, like you said, not bad, at least not first half of Boba Fett levels bad. But it does seem to be a little bit of a shame that they still had a full 2 years, like the gap between the first and the second season of Mandalorian, and all we're getting is a
year gap between the first two.
Yeah, and it's like
the first
it's like we're getting a stepping stone of like Marvel-fied type of storytelling where it's like, yeah, it's cool that you're connecting things, but the fact that you're almost sacrificing this whole season just for this movie, it kind of makes me a little bit less excited about this movie that Dave got going for him, because it just, I don't know how the audience is going to react to it. Go ahead.
I'm actually kind of excited for that because even though I agree the quality of the shows has been inconsistent, but the one thing about all of the shows and all of this taking place, kind of around the same time period, bridging the gap between the Old Republic and the New Republic, I have always thought, like, I don't know if a show built like it was kind of like with the Netflix Defenders series leading into the Defenders show. Like, I didn't really care for the Defenders show all that much because it was a TV show, Like, I feel like
if they use those Netflix shows to build up to a crossover movie, me personally, I would have liked it more, and I am kind of glad that do seem to be doing that with the Disney Plus shows. But also, it's kind of weird just thinking about like how is a Star Wars movie going to do that requires TV show viewing when not everyone has Disney Plus. Yeah, most people do, but not everyone. And Star Wars movies have always been like you can just go in and watch it without having known anything about Star Wars. They're all individual.
Yeah. Well, not only just
So,
the Disney Plus shows, but like Ahsoka and some of these are heavily
animated shows too.
Yeah, they're heavily relying on some of these characters that were introduced in the Clone Wars and then eventually in the Rebels. So you got two big series that well, you have to watch the Clone Wars to get what happens in Rebels, and then you have to watch Rebels to get what happens in Ahsoka, and now you're gonna have to watch Ahsoka and Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Rebels and Clone Wars
and all. It's just like holy shit. But that's the same problem Marvel's running into also, right? With the Secret Wars movie, you're gonna have to watch all these shows and movies now. So
yeah. But man, it's getting
actually, but there is like one thing. I have not seen Andor, but I love Rogue One, and now I want to see Andor because for one, Rogue One to me is a great film. I mean, in my eyes, I think that it was dark, gritty, had a dark tone to it, and it was just great. But I've not seen Andor. I know I'm like 2 years behind. I apologize, Star Wars fans, if anybody's
well, you can wait until the second season
podcast
comes out.
episode later, but I would love to watch Andor and see what the hype was about. So I put that on my
So when the
list.
second season comes out, that way you'll have you can go right into the second season. You can experience the greatness of the first season, and like it's not like you need to watch it right now because you already know it's building up to Rogue One. So if anything, once the second season is out, you could just binge the first two seasons and then cap it off with Rogue One, and there you got the whole that whole story.
Cool.
Yeah, and the final movie announcement that did get announced here was one that so it's Shireen Abe Chinoy, I believe is how you pronounce the name. The award-winning director behind Miss Marvel is gonna make a movie set after the events of Rise of the Skywalker.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God!
The stink of Skywalker.
God damn! Fuck!
The smell of Skywalker.
Bullshit.
Yeah, so we're gonna get Rey back, which I didn't really care for her character.
Skywalker.
But yeah, that Rise of Skywalker, that movie was really rough. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I thought like it made The Last Jedi look a bit better than it was just by how bad that Rise of Skywalker was.
Last Jedi's great.
Last
Jedi's great, but
No,
the Rise of
no.
Skywalker made it actually worse to me. That's how bad it was.
No, the whole sequel trilogy is pretty bad in my opinion.
It's the biggest piece of dog
No, it
shit.
is.
But like, it just doesn't like. I don't know about you guys, but this making another potential sequel trilogy to the bad sequel trilogy is not the way to go. It's like it made some money, but it definitely underperformed compared to what they were hoping for because it was Star Wars at its peak, and they literally had to go into hiatus and cancel a bunch of stuff like the Patty Jenkins movie, Rian Johnson's trilogy, all these other things got put on hold or canceled just because of how poorly received the sequel trilogy was. So do you guys think it's a good idea for them to try to make a follow-up to that?
Follow up with Rey? No.
Yeah, like what do you guys? How do you guys feel about that? I'll just leave it at that and let you guys answer.
Who are they making it for? Are they making it for Star Wars fans, or are they making it for the, say, 500 or so audience members that did like the Rey character?
I don't know. I guess they're just making it because Kathleen Kennedy's like, just make it anyways. I
No,
like it.
well, Kathleen Kennedy, she knows she's on her way out. So she's like, before I'm on my way out, I'm going to greenlight one more project that's going to piss everyone off. That's how I see it.
I could see that.
She's not gonna be there for long. Like kind of like how Perlmutter and Victoria Alonso are out. Kathleen Kennedy, she's gonna. I mean, they've every time they announce a new Star Wars thing, we hear it falls apart, or the director leaves, or they change writers, and even the Star Wars movies that did get made still ended up all having directors change. Like Rogue One's director changed, Solo's director changed, Rise of Skywalker's director changed, and then we have like a Taika Waititi movie that they say, oh yeah, he's still making it. There was a Damon Lindelof movie. There was the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron. I mean, there's been so many fucking projects that even the ones they announced over the weekend, like I know the Disney investors are like, look, we paid $4 billion for this franchise. We need an actual theatrical release. We can't just have everything be on TV and rely on Disney streaming money. Like we need big blockbusters in the theaters. So what are you going to give us? So I do think that these three movies, or at least 2 or 3 of them, will end up sticking and end up coming out. And they'll probably get something out in theaters, maybe not next year, but the year after. But I at the same time, I'm just like, you've announced so much shit that just fell through. And I've also, like, even though I am enjoying Mandalorian, overall Star Wars TV content is not enough there to get me like hyped for another movie. Like, yeah, I would watch the crossover movie that they're planning on doing just because, like, why the hell not? I mean, I do like the characters in it. And if Dave Filoni does, I want to support his first directorial debut as a film director. But I feel like everything that they're announcing now is just gonna. I really just don't care anymore. I just don't. I'm kind of like how JT is about Marvel.
JT, you're spreading. You're spreading. We're gonna have to move you out.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Well, okay, so here's the thing with Star Wars. I feel like Disney's at a buffet, right? Because they purchased Fox, they purchased Star Wars, and they purchased Marvel. Okay, we're going to have all this buffet. Oh no, the food is getting rotten. We don't want all that stuff. Throw it all away in the trash. Let's come up with new ideas. Fans don't like it, so Disney just scared at this point. Star Wars, okay, that's fine. Marvel, okay, that's fine. So
yeah, sure.
I don't really care.
50 projects.
Like I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I love some of the properties that they have. I know that all these shows and movies going to come together in one big thing, like you guys talked about, but I don't really care. All I care is about, does this
Make a good
movie or
movie.
show? Yes. Does it have a good story and good characters? That's all I want. So Marvel, Disney could do whatever. I'm just here to talk shit on all of them because that's how I roll, and I'm so glad that I have this platform where I can talk shit about Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, DC if I want to, because you guys sometimes do, but I have the fun and everything.
Of course, man.
I am so glad to be part of this panel.
Yeah, we definitely love that you speak your mind, man. No holding back. That's the way we love
individual.
But
passionate individual.
yeah, no, well, and passion. That's actually a word I was going to use in a second, Mr. Oyman. Is these Star Wars ones? I do look forward to like Ahsoka and like you said, the team up one, just because like Rosario Dawson and Dave and all these are putting so much passion into these specific projects because she's training like 14 hours a day, it said on the article on IGN. And you got these, like, I know James Mangold is going to put some passion. Obviously, I don't know if the guy from Miss Marvel puts about as much passion in that sequel to Rise of the Skywalker as he did Miss Marvel, then, oh boy, we're in for a treat. But it's just, JT made the point that it's like a buffet. If you're going to have a buffet and have potentially subpar food, there's got to be at least 1 or 2 dishes that you need to make stand out, and you need to have like the best chef you got in the kitchen cooking up that thing, so that if everything else fails, at least you could say you got something good. Similar to like people really enjoyed Andor. I personally haven't watched it. It's on my watch list. But I might do like Mr. Oyman saying, just wait for season 2, which did get announced for a August 2024 premiere. And
Oh, cool.
as long as
It's kind of weird
there's
with
passion.
Star Wars. They never seem to like
their projects are either pretty good in the story and character department, but then they're kind of lacking in the overall spectacle, like Andor or maybe even Solo, or obviously their animated shows aren't going to have the same level of spectacle as the live action stuff. But then they will deliver on the spectacle in something like Mandalorian or the sequel trilogy, but it just lacks that heart and character work that you appreciate from the other Star Wars. Oh man, the original Star Wars, I should say, not the prequels, because those are also just spectacle. So it's like if they could find that nice happy medium and give spend the money and put the effort in that they do in their lackluster projects, but also have the level of writing as something like say Andor, then hey, they'd be firing off on all cylinders, and we'd probably actually get some really great Star Wars projects. But so far they've just been all right, I guess.
Yeah. But hopefully they are making some progress. I mean, Mandalorian and such like that did show that there is a little bit of hope. Even at its worst, Mandalorian is still pretty entertaining, in my opinion.
it is fun, but it's
Like that last episode with fucking Jack Black, Lizzo, and Christopher.
Oh, I don't know
like,
what the hell.
What is going on here?
I don't know.
I was like, what is going on?
It was like an
That
SNL
was a
skit,
fucking
man.
fever dream.
Yeah,
the
it
whole thing
was a
like
fever dream.
I was like, this is actual Star Wars. Even Katie Sackhoff and whoever's playing Mando is like looking at each other like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did like the world they were at and how it reminded me of like some of the
I
prequel
love the
stuff.
droid
But
bar was great. I like
yeah,
that.
but some of that stuff was a little bit too like, what the hell?
What is going on?
Another thing that's what the hell, and I guess they're trying to pick a marketing from the Barbie book is the Acolyte. So it turns out like
That.
yeah, the series creator Leslie Headland said that she wanted to delve into the Star Wars universe and tell the story of this entire world that I love so much from the perspective of the bad guys. And here's where it gets weird and again puzzling. I guess this is more for like the headlines and such. She said that what she pitched was Frozen meets Kill Bill, whatever the fuck that means. And
What?
yeah, she's like, well, and that's the part that's just, what the hell does that mean?
Musical?
Who knows? But the next part is what I would have pitched.
Two sisters.
It's the part that she should have pitched is this, and not the Frozen meets Kill Bill. It's the High Republic near the beginning of the prequels, which is something they haven't really explored and is really cool. Is when the bad guys were outnumbered, they're the underdogs. And she says, I'm really excited for you guys to see what you haven't seen in live action yet. But back to that headline grabbing Frozen meets Kill Bill. Yeah, that just, what the hell do they want us to run with that? Like, what does that
What do they
mean?
want us to take? Yeah, what do we take from that?
Yeah, like you said, is it about sisters, the Frozen part, or is it a musical, or is it gonna be a goddamn fucking snowman that's come to life? Who knows? I don't know, but does that combination?
Based off of the
Old fairy tale, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, here
I
you
haven't seen
go.
Kill Bill, so I can't comment on that. I have no idea what that would be like, other than someone trying to kill a bunch of people out of revenge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so she breaks down. I didn't scroll far enough into this because this article is freaking long. But it says that the Frozen part is about the sister relationship, and the villain is a powerful, misunderstood woman. And something about music.
Sorry.
Yeah, hopefully they don't try to make this a musical. And then for the Kill Bill, they just said, oh, it's martial arts. Oh, somebody's cutting in and out. Who's trying to talk right now?
Sorry, that was
Oi, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
sorry, my headphones died.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you started talking
I
through
was
like.
playing it over speaker, and it was like not. It wasn't doing it right. It was going.
Hey, you actually sound a lot better right now. It's super freaking crystal
Okay,
clear.
so I'm just talking into my phone now, which means y'all will be able to hear me better. I just can't hear you because I can't play it on speaker without it doing what it just did.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll be fine though.
Oh.
I can still hear you. It's just really quiet.
Okay, so I'll try to speak up, but yeah, does that combination excite any of y'all, or is it like, what the hell are you doing over there?
Actually, it excites me because, like I said, earlier, I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars, but if it has a good story, good characters, a good villain, I'll probably go watch it. I don't know nothing about the High Republic or the Old Republic or the New Republic. And I didn't really care about Rey Skywalker or Daisy Ridley, even though she's a great actress. And the movies were all I care about is as long as I had those like 4 or 5 qualities that I just talked about. I'm just a standard movie lover. That's it. So it is whatever to me.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Oyman, before I move on and kind of rush through these last few announcements, because we are about to reach the 2-hour mark. So I feel like we could get this through, but I do want to hear your input on that project. Oh, wait, we lost him. I apologize.
Yes.
Well, hopefully we get him back. So, with that being said, Skeleton Crew gets first reveal, and we do get, obviously, some of the directors coming to that project, which is going to be John Watts, David Lowery. I can't read some of these because the pictures are bad. Bryce Dallas Howard is making a return to the Star Wars directorial panel. She's done a few episodes of The Mandalorian. I believe one every season. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi is getting a second season, as well as The Bad Batch gets a third and final season. Star Wars Visions, that anime, what would it be called? Anthology. There you go. Anthology gets its second season. And those projects that Mr. Oyman was talking about earlier also did get. They do say that Lando series is still happening, but who's to know? Taika Waititi is still working away on his Star Wars film. That one I have a little bit more faith in that will happen because he is actively working on it and talking about it. Who knows if it eventually he takes too long and it becomes like an Edgar Wright Ant-Man thing to where eventually they wanted to tie into something that he doesn't want to. So we could see that outcome. And of course, we also got a new final gameplay trailer ahead of the launch of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which comes out at the end of this month, which JT, are you planning on picking that up? I don't know if you played the first one, Jedi Fallen Order.
I did not finish the first one, and so I want to finish the first one and then pick up the second one. But I don't know. I don't I really enjoyed the first one. I hope that the second one is equally or better as good. I will pick it up eventually, but I like to finish my games before I get a new game. So try to finish the Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, that's a good technique. That's something I need to start doing because I see a new game or I see a game on sale and I'm like, ooh, I have like 20 that I haven't finished or started in some cases. Let me buy another one. And it goes into the backlog. But what does get me excited about this game is the fact that they did say that Coruscant is going to be a playable planet. They do say it might not be open world, but I do think that planet has always been pretty cool. And I do look forward to
That'd be fun.
being in that planet, almost kind of immersing myself into a place that I've always wanted to visit. Even if I don't get to go through the whole city, a small section for me would suffice. And of course, they tease some Mandalorian like later in the season, and the fact that the Mandalorian producer is now saying that Din is like Mr. Oyman said earlier, not the focus of the Mandalorian anymore, and they're gonna it's Mandalorian as a whole.
Which is too bad.
Yeah, like I do think that it's cool that they want to explore like Bo-Katan and the whole Mandalorians all coming together and being a more or less a tribe once again. But I feel like that should have been a separate
this
project.
season isn't even focusing on that. It's all over the place. It's that's like the B plot.
It's slowly about them finding a new home and a new way of life. Yeah. So it is about that. It's just like you said. It's not the focus. It seems like it's an afterthought, and that's where the problem for me comes in because I feel like the Mandalorian is Din. I don't care what the producer says. I don't care what they want to do. They should have had that series remain focused on him because he is the Mandalorian. He is the one we go in and tune into. I do want to see other Mandalorian, but they should take the back seat, and it should not be about Mandalore as a whole. When we know what we're coming for, so I feel like that's a big L on their part. And let's see what else. Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan or Ewan McGregor's really out there begging Disney to give him a second season because he wants.
Nah, I'm good. Don't need it.
He wants
Money, money, money.
He wants to secure that bag. This is a bold lie. Rogue Squadron could still happen. I mean, yeah, it's been. Yeah, no,
it's done.
Yeah, that one's not happening. I can guarantee you that it's been put on hold. It's been pushed back. Patty Jenkins is doing God knows what. And then Ryan Johnson, best news, his trilogy is not actively in development. Get out of here. Get out of here.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Everything. You did everything wrong,
Stick to
Ryan.
murder mysteries.
Yeah, for real. I do like his like he had one of the best episodes on Breaking Bad. I love those what are they called? Knives Out movies, like The Glass Onion, Knives Out. I don't hate him as a director and anything because I see there is potential in the guy, but keep him away from Star Wars, please. For the love of Christ, keep him away from it. And we got a new trailer for Indiana Jones there, and the announcement that they will be returning in 2 years, but this time in Japan, which I don't know, man. Maybe I could save up some money. I've always wanted to go to Japan and going to go see a Star Wars celebration in Japan. Hey, that sounds like a win-win for me. With that being said, I think we covered everything that was over on our bulletin board. Any final thoughts that the panel might want to say before we go ahead and wrap up this episode?
Nope. Hi again. I'm back after the Star Wars stuff.
I think
I'm still here.
Disney must be pretty impressed with his new Indiana Jones movie if they're already announcing him as a director of a Star Wars movie. Of course, if Indiana Jones comes out and it's bad and it bombs, then you can guarantee that James Mangold movie ain't happening.
Which sucks because that one's probably the most interesting in my opinion.
Yeah.
But hey, if it ends up falling through, at least we still get James Mangold going over to DC and doing Swamp Thing, which...
That's true. I forgot about that. That I have a feeling will happen.
Yeah, like that guy
we'll
so far...
You have something to say.
Go ahead, JT. Go ahead.
To the fans out there listening to this podcast, and in the future, I appreciate all you guys listening to me because for one, it gives us a chance to talk about what we want to talk about, and number two, it gives me the chance to express my true feelings as a moviegoer, as a comic book lover, and also as a Marvel and DC fan. So thank you, public, for allowing me to express my bullshit everywhere on both sides of the coin, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I actually could not have said it better myself. I do want to give a huge shout out for those of y'all that tuned in and listened to us to this episode. I hope we entertained y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed the topics and the discussions. You guys are the reason we're here. I mean, we like talking amongst each other, but we also like talking to y'all. So thanks again for stopping by. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, and feel free to share us out with anyone you might know that's a huge geek like us and just wants to hear some topics, hear opinions, and hear JT just rant and go off and maybe make their blood boil too. But, of course, the rest of the panel, you, Miss Cap, I'm so glad you were able to stop by and stuck with us while we talked 20 minutes about Star Wars, which isn't your cup of tea, but hopefully we could get you on that train sometime.
I gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, but so glad you could make it in. And Mr. Oyman, who has me on echoing, because I just love to hear that beautiful, scratchy voice of mine. But thanks for stopping by, Mr. Oyman. No, you're good. But I do appreciate you taking your time and coming over and helping me out with this podcast. And being my fantastic co-host. Anything you want to share?
You know how much I sacrificed.
Ah, you beat me. You beat me. All right. Well, thanks everyone for stopping by, and we'll hopefully see you on the next episode of the Screen Crusader podcast.
You know how much I sacrificed?